found a good one today. We're going to Bison Witches downtown, Welcome Street. Let's do it.
Very excited.
Let's go.
All right.
So normally we do small businesses.
Yeah. This is totally different.
We find people, we ask them their favorite places to eat. We go there, we film it, we call it Lincoln Eats. I get the same thing every time I come.
Do you?
There.
What do you get?
I get the chicken salad croissant and soup, the half and half or whatever.
Well, born and raised in Nebraska.
Okay.
I've been in Lincoln longer than I haven't been.
Okay.
I have 2 little girls that are 9 and 6.
So how long you been a police officer?
I've been a police officer 16 years.
16 years? That's about as long as I've been selling real estate.
So, yep, it's long enough. I have, I'll ride the career out as long as it'll let me go. But I've seen a lot. 16 years, you see a lot. So,
describe a typical day. Are we like? How would you describe your role at the police department?
I think that is such an interesting question to ask a police officer because there is no such thing as a typical day.
Favorite cop movie?
Is it The Departed?
Departed.
Right? Like
great.
Okay.
Like that's
with
that's
Leonardo
like a real
DiCaprio and
Matt Damon.
Oh yes. Okay.
Mark Wahlberg.
I'm gonna say that's a great one.
That is a great one.
If I'm going funny, Super Troopers.
Okay.
Right. The reason being is we still do that stuff at work. You know, there's across the board. There's always stuff, and I think from the very beginning of your career, you realize you're always being watched. You're always being videotaped. You're always being, and that videotaping has kind of progressed as we've, I think when I first started, what shocked me so much was how much people stare at you, because you're in a uniform, and like, it's so, and now I don't even think about it, it's not, but when I first started,
it's the uniform,
it is, 100%. It's just like, oh, it's a person in uniform.
I always found that like when you worked downtown, did you do tavern checks and stuff like that?
Back in the day, yeah, long time ago.
Did you ever go to a place and be like, I'm going to have to check this out? Like after,
like on my own. You know what?
Duty,
I do that a lot. And I'll even tell people. I love small business stuff and local stuff.
Right.
And I think when I'm at work, I go into a place because they have a call or whatever, and I never heard of it before. And maybe, and especially where I work is so far from where I live.
Right.
But sometimes I go and I'm like, I gotta try this out. Oh, I gotta go do that. And restaurants especially, because we go in and out of restaurants so much, and then I don't eat at work.
You consider yourself a role model to like young girls, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
breaking the norm, because it is kind of...
I do. I think when I first started, it was far more rare than it is now.
Right.
And when new female cops come in, I do like to make sure they know that they're welcomed and stuff. Not that it's... I always say, when I first started, women weren't very nice to each other in this field. You had to earn your keep.
Right.
So once you broke that boundary and you kind of were like, okay, she's okay, and you always had to kind of prove you're tough. You're tough enough. And the veteran women cops were like, I've already proved myself. Now you have to prove yourself. Don't make me look bad.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
And so I like to let the girls know when they come in, the younger cops come in, that I support them and that it's not a competition, that, whatever they need, they can always come to us older veteran cops because we've been through it and there's no reason to be mean to each other. It's just a different culture now. Every shift is different. So my shift, I work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so I might go the whole morning with nothing, right? Which we never have nothing. Here in Lincoln, what we are is generalist officers, which is not a commonly practiced thing across the nation. So that means, I think we all know the difference between Lincoln and Omaha to some degree, but in Omaha, if your car is broken into, for example, you may get a cop to come out the next day. As far as fingerprinting or crime scene processing, that's probably a different unit's going to come out and do those things. Mm-hmm. The general street cop is just taking the basic information and passing it on to an investigator or passing it on to the crime scene people. Where here, we own it from the beginning to end. So no matter whether it's a larceny from auto to homicide, that street cop's a part of it from beginning to end.
Alrighty, I'll go on that side. And chicken salad with you?
Yep.
There you go. Enjoy.
Look at all the carbs.
Yeah, get a shot of this, because this is what it's about.
Wow.
The bread bowls.
Oh, yes. And it's awesome to dip your sandwich in the bread bowl.
Right there. Don't judge me. Ooh, this is probably not healthy, though. That's chicken salad in Lincoln.
Is it? Well, now I'm going to have to come back.
No. I tried to get my attorney to come down here as kind of a, like I wouldn't answer any questions without, but he wanted to charge me. I'm like, I was like,
Come on,
oh
man.
man,
Who
he
is
charges
it?
me like $100 for just a phone call. You think it would be cool to be a cop, but it's like one of those things where it's like, you just want to try. Like I really have a lot of respect.
Right?
But,
Yeah.
I'm going, one, I'm too fat. Like,
No.
I would be like the cops from like Superbad, you know? Like, that is the fastest kid alive. I am not catching him. Like, they're...
After I eat this, City of Lincoln, if you want to run from me after this, it's a good time because I'll be. We always say that too. We're like, oh, please
we gotta
don't.
run.
There's some people that stick. There's some calls that you go on that stick. And those are the things that are really the driving forces behind what
That
you
keeps you
do
going.
every day. Yeah, and same with you. You know that you're making a difference or
Right.
helping people out. And I think if you don't have that, if you don't want to help people out, and in my profession, the only thing I'm in the business of is people. There's no real other thing I'm in the business of. So I really try and work hard to be understanding of people's situations. So it's really easy to go into a domestic violence situation and say, just leave. This is the 5th time we've been here. Leave already. Why are you still there? The problem is like, I'm not them. I don't know where they came from. I don't know their experiences. I don't know what their mindset is. And you just have to continue to be supportive every time at the same level you were the first time you went out there, and continue to let them know that you're there and you understand that this might not be easy, and you just hope that it doesn't turn to, the worst case scenario. And there's times that you leave and you just know, like, this is going to be bad. I was sitting in a parking lot and I was way off the beaten path. I just wanted to pull in this parking lot because I had to write out some emails. And this woman stops. And the funny thing is, a lot of times you're there, we don't have an office we can escape to, right? Like, I don't get to, like, go off and be by my, I'm always visible. That is my office. So when someone walks up, it's like, can I help you? I'm in the middle of this. And so there's this kind of moment where you're like, and then and it is our job to be that way, but you know how that is when you're in the middle of a task, you get interrupted or phone rings, whatever it is. And so she comes up and she's like, I have had this in my car for months waiting to find an officer to give it to. And she's like, for some reason I drove down this road today at this time and you were here and it was destiny that I give this to you. And she hands me this and it's, police officer's prayer. And it's really cool. It came with this whole prayer and it means a lot when stuff like that happens because we don't get enough of the positive sometimes, that when it does happen, man, it's awesome.
Legal, not legal.
Oh gosh, okay.
Now,
All
I
right.
feel like I kind of tipped you off. So did you Google?
I didn't do any prepreparation.
All right, so I
On
wrote
purpose, 'cause
I
I
wrote a
thought
bunch
that's
of,
not- okay.
There's some true, there's some false. I don't really,
Okay.
we'll just see. True or false? Bars can't sell beer unless they are also brewing a pot of soup.
False.
No, that's true.
Go!
Hotels are required to provide a clean white cotton nightshirt for guests upon request.
True.
That was true.
I would have to go true on that.
If you dare to sneeze or burp during church service, your pewmates aren't the only ones judging you. It's technically a crime and you can be arrested.
True.
That one's true.
Funny.
I can't believe I'm asking a police officer this, but condoms can only be sold by doctors.
True.
That one is true. Last one. Men aren't allowed to run around with shaved chest.
Oh my, that does sound pretty risque. I'm gonna say true. If they shave, I have to prove
2 out of
they
8.
shave.
That's a passing grade in my
I think
book.
I did I miss 3.
We're gonna give it to you.
Awesome.
I still want you to like sign this as a memento. Just
All right,
to,
I will.
Like, still getting her to sign it.
Winky
Alrighty.
face.
Look in the camera. Tell Lincoln what you want to tell him.
Oh my goodness.
Pressure one.
So something I think a lot of people don't know about the Lincoln Police Department is we have a charitable organization called Santa Cop that we raise money for, and actually that money is used year-round to help families, children in need. I have one particular story where I had a family very close to Christmas lost their dad, and Santa Cop was able to help them pay electric bills, get groceries, celebrate the holidays with food, presents, and we do all kinds of things like that all the time that are pretty amazing, and the Santa Cop organization does take care of that. They also provide a lot of toys and things at Center for People in Need, and we do Shop with a Cop, which is a really cool program where a child is set up with a cop to go shopping with them, and they go pick out toys, things that are needed for their family, and it makes them a part of it. And we also get to have this great bonding experience with that kid, which can have a lasting effect on them down the road as well. So it's a really awesome organization that just brings out positivity for us, and we get to see smiles and hugs and be happy.
Well, we want to thank you for eating with us today.
This is
You
awesome.
have been awesome. You put the fine in Lincoln's finest. If you are a small business, you have a favorite place to eat, you need a unique way to market yourself, come have lunch with us. Hit us up below. It's been another video of Lincoln Eats, and we'll see you next time.